10 things the SBA has gotten woefully wrong in the 22 months since this debacle. This is going to be a long show if we can't even get through the first thing.
Between the fraud and the complete incompetence, which is the other 9 points that we're going to discuss today.
These 10 things are not necessarily in any one order. They're not weighted by the gravity of the egregiousness of the SBA's process. No. Let's start with number 1. No safeguards against fraud in the original application. They have now, as a result of their oversights from the beginning, they're treating legitimate businesses as if they're committing fraud because the SBA was duped early on. The legitimate small business owners have been paying the price with having to wait 9 months for an approval. Like, what? And how is it that they can't approve the loan? No one's talking about, is it really taking that long to get through approving a file? Because they're papering everyone to death because of the fraud, they now can't get through their own process on a streamlined basis.
I don't know if you're aware, Linda, but there is a proposal floating out there from the Small Business Administration that's making its way through Congress. The proposal is that going forward, small business loans, which currently the way it works is you're a small business and you go to a bank or you go to an SBA approved direct lender, and that lender lends you their money under the auspices of the SBA program, which means basically the bank has an internal underwriter, but there's also a backup secondary underwriter at the Small Business Administration who has to agree with the bank's underwriter. Well, this proposal seeks to eliminate the bank from that process, and that the Small Business Administration will be the direct lender on certain, if not all, SBA programs. American Bankers Association and a lot of other folks are saying, oh, hell to the no. Between the fraud that SBA allowed to happen, how can the SBA even think that it could take on the role as a direct lender for regular SBA loans? In fact, as bad as the banks are, they're a buffer. In our experiences of closing loans, our bankers actually made the deals happen. It is so simple to protect against fraud. Require a photo ID and a tax return. It's not complicated.
Right.
Number
2.
Failure to train staff on the fundamentals of business documents.
They don't know how to read forms and they don't know how to do math. They don't know how to read tax returns and tax transcripts to know what numbers indicate the actual income that would be able to then calculate gross revenue minus COGS equals gross profit times 2, 24 months working capital. Number 3, everyone's favorite subject.
Here we go.
4506T. T for trouble, folks. After 22 months, they're still misdirecting people on how to complete it, and they're completing it incorrectly. We see them when it's in the portal and people have to sign it. It's wrong. All right, number 4, inability to recognize the unique nature of this pandemic and how it fits into the EIDL program. They are using rules and how they were lending money for natural disasters. This is not the same thing. A natural disaster is a finite period of time. The storm came, the storm destroyed, and then the storm passed.
In minutes.
In minutes, maybe hours if it's a hurricane. We have gone through now 2 variants that has caused people to have to stay home and not go out, not buy stuff, not spend money. Number 5, terrible communication and messaging. This might be my favorite. I don't know. They're all really good in that they're all really bad.
You're the queen of communications and messaging for our business.
They don't really tell you why you're declined, what part of the application is unverifiable. All right, number 6, failure to recognize that some people have multiple businesses. This is,
it's America.
Unbelievable.
Why would anybody? Why are you not?
How do you not know if one business is different from the other? They're either accusing of fraud or
duplicate application.
You're going to different EIN numbers.
They're not even looking that far.
All right, number 7, failure to provide cogent reconsideration process.
It's a mess. 2 years in.
There's no words. I have a lot of words and they're expletives.
Tell the folks how you feel.
I guess it's my ranting day today.
Tell the folks how you feel.
I've written 2 procedure manuals for 2 different businesses. It's not rocket science, people. Number 8, failure to provide resiliency processes for changing business. Oh yeah, like bank accounts and emails, like
what
all
Beatrice
the time.
is asking about. When you have a competent loan officer on the phone, the loan officer will have you log into your portal and will clear the portal of the depository information for you, and then you will re-enter it, and the loan officer will then register it. It has to be manually done. Generally speaking, changing your email address or your bank account with the SBA is a absolute and total meltdown of a nightmare.
If you're in management at the SBA and you're in the leadership hierarchy at the SBA, I'm going to go out on a limb here and think that maybe you're paying attention to some of the social media. How have you not heard, SBA, that people are freaking out that you're going to run out of money, and then you're using little disclaimers to cover your ass? And we're on number 9. Number 9 is tied to 1, inordinate focus on fraud, because they screwed up so bad. All you legitimate businesses have to pay the price of their screw-ups in the beginning.
Basically, their shoot first, ask questions later mentality comes out of the idea that all of you are attempting to commit fraud. This is a lot like a highway cop who's sitting by the side of the highway with his or her radar gun and assuming that every single person is speeding before she turns on her radar gun.
Number 10 seems like a total catch-all blanket of all things that are wrong. So number 10 summarizes the previous 9. I challenge anyone out there that is listening to us. Let me know what you think the SBA has gotten right.
Because Rivera and Guzman and the other folks that run the SBA and their incompetence, they're not training their agents in basics about business documentation, business processes. The application and reconsideration process both are overly complicated for one reason only: SBA's incompetence.
I would find it highly improbable.
No, it's not going to happen.
This is how they're going to make money.
Kia, never going to happen. Watch us stop reading Reddit.
Oh my God.
That's some Reddit grade. I'm eating Hot Pockets in my mommy's basement at 2 a.m. because I live at home. By the way, the Reddit who told all you people to file amended tax returns back in March and April this year so you'd get more EIDL money. Okay, you know what they were telling you to do? Committing fraud. Stop reading Reddit. It's crap.
Such drama. It's like the soap opera of social media.
They are not going to forgive the EIDL program.